I'm not a lawyer, but I do want to say at the very beginning to kind of position this, that in my view, Israel's 44-year occupation of the Palestinian territories certainly constitutes a crime of apartheid. And SWEDISH, as was mentioned yesterday, has extended the notion or the term, the definition of racial domination to include national and ethnic groups. But another point I want to make is that I think today less and less you can separate between Israel proper, if you want to call it that, and the occupied territories. It's a fictional distinction. First of all, Israel itself doesn't make the distinction. You know, Israel officially denies that it has an occupation. So from Israel's point of view, there's no difference between Tel Aviv and what Israelis call Judea and Samaria. And Gaza kind of slips in there. In Hebrew we say Yesha, which is a pun which means both salvation but also Judea, Samaria, and Gaza. So in a sense, Israel sees this as one country. And that, I think, is what gives the idea of apartheid even more meaning, because apartheid is not a policy. It's not a policy of discrimination. You have policies of discrimination everywhere. But it's a system. It's a regime. And in this sense, it's a regime that includes the entire country. And I think Leah's presentation and the presentations of others have shown that inside Israel, the situation of, even though Palestinians may have a formal citizenship, de facto in terms of rights and so on, their situation is really no different in many ways from those of Palestinians in the occupied territories, and certainly the conception of Judaization and of making the country Jewish and of ethnic displacement is common throughout the country. So I'm going to relate to the country as a whole. I'm the head of the Israeli Committee Against House Demolitions, which is an Israeli political and human rights organization that's dedicated to ending the occupation and achieving a just peace between Israelis and Palestinians in whatever form that takes. We believe it's the Palestinians' prerogative to decide what form that takes, and therefore we don't advocate any particular solution. But we use the issue of house demolitions as a vehicle, as kind of a window for letting people understand how the occupation works and what Israel's intentions are. Israel's demolished 26,000 Palestinian homes in the occupied territories only since 1967. But of course, and this policy, if we go back for a minute to the International Convention on the Suppression and Punishment of the Crime of Apartheid, certainly fits into Article 2D, that because the policy of house demolitions is certainly a measure designed to divide the population along racial, or what I would prefer to say, national, ethnic, religious lines. In fact, I want to say this as well, we use the word apartheid in Israel officially. In other words, the word we use, the name of our policy towards the Palestinians is called hafrada in Hebrew. F-H-A-F-R-A-D-A. Hafrada in Hebrew means apartheid, a separateness, to separate. We simply say it in Hebrew rather than Afrikaans. But it's the same concept. And in fact, the official name of the wall is not the security barrier, because it really wasn't built for security, but the official name of the wall is the separation barrier. So and Israel calls the line of the wall, I was going to show it on a slide, but we don't have it, but Israel calls the tortuous line of the wall that intrudes deeply into Palestinian territory its demographic border. Its security border is the Jordan River. But the demographic border is, and this is all in documents, in government statements. This isn't something secret that I'm revealing today. It's up front and it's explicit, and I think that it conforms to what Leah was saying. And certainly